What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of A Reseller's Life. My name is Chris. I go by Daily Refinement online. Thank you for joining me. Today, I have to plug my mastermind group, which I meet with every morning. Their ideas are awesome. Today, I'm going to share a few ideas from that group. If you're interested in joining, it's on my Patreon, patreon.com/dailyrefinement. And it's about 50 people. We talk every morning on specific ideas and how to get to the next level. And this morning, the call was excellent. And I want to share some of the ideas with you guys to help you get to the next level. So the first one is act like you're on TV. Now, there's a lot of reseller shows that are on TV, and I know a lot of the people that are on these shows have been asked to be on some of these TV shows, and it's awesome. But there's a difference when you are acting like you want to be on TV. And so the TV crew is going to come tomorrow. You're going to act different. You're going to have a schedule lined up. You're going to have employees that know what they're going to do. You're going to have inventory ready to go up because you want to make the best of the TV production. Now, here's the thing. Why wouldn't you want to make the best every day anyway? So I think that you should kind of act like you're always on film. Here's something that's really interesting, and it's a good metaphor. And this is like an Olympic athlete. A lot of Olympic athletes are asked, how are you so successful? How are you able to perform in the top 0.0001% of humans? And they usually answer, it's not like as difficult as people think as far as the actual training part. It's only 3 or 4 hours a day of training, and the rest of the day is media, or it's not being an athlete. The actual athlete part is 3 to 4 hours a day. You can't actually train more than that, and even that 3 to 4 hours is not all strength training. Some of it's balance, some of it's psychology. But the thing is, everything is planned for you. You have your eating is completely organized, your training is completely organized, and I find this definition really interesting, which is it's more like a job than it is being an entrepreneur when you're an athlete. And specifically, your whole day is planned for you. You're always focused on performance. You're always being supervised, and you're always being timed every single day when you go to work. Imagine that over the course of being age 8 to the age of 20, 12 straight years of disciplined improvement. You're going to be the best in the world. That's just what happens when you do that over time. And that's like the definition of what people want out of an employee, right? You want to know exactly when they're coming to work. You're going to time them and supervise them, make sure their performance is on point. That's what a employee does, right? And really, to get that kind of a level of sophistication, you better be like a surgeon or something, and you better earn surgeon pay. One thing I see though with resellers is they want a surgeon productivity, but they want to pay minimum wage. Like a person that works at Taco Bell, you're trying to get that person to list perfectly every single time. That's not really how this works. Like, that's not your expectation level for your Taco Bell worker. No offense to Taco Bell. Is so high. There's no way they're going to be able to produce that. And I have to relate back to Gary Vee, who said, somebody asked, why aren't you mad at this employee that's only working 3 hours a day and they're playing Minecraft the other 5 hours? And he's like, there's no way they're going to care about my business as much as they care about their business. That's just how it works. He just laughed it off. He wasn't mad at that person. He's not going to fire that person. That's just how it is. Whatever you set as the job description is what people do. And I'll give you a perfect example. I had a Chinese tea ceremony a couple of days ago, and we set up a photo booth, and I was testing all the equipment. As you guys know, my photographer used to do weddings. He did 500 weddings in his wedding career, and now he prefers to photograph things that don't move or talk. So he's my product photographer. But he has the printers that print on site. So the Canon Selphy is the printer that we're using, and we have 6 printers for the wedding. And basically, you can take a picture using the app, print out the photos. Now, he brought his equipment over to my place, and it is so organized. It has a perfect case that all the printers fit in. All the cables are broken down into 2 parts of the cable, the brick and then the part that plugs into the wall. And it's really, really organized and really uniform. And I was setting it up. It was very quick and fast because it was all organized and laid out and labeled. Now, here's the thing. When I was putting the stuff back into the box after the event, the cords, as you guys know, there's the part where the cord comes out of the power brick. There's basically a little elastic holder at the end that is that basically connects the cord to the block. And that can get damaged over time. And what happens is that stops working and then you need to replace the brick. And I put that joint upside down in the padded box. And my photographer said, hey, if you don't mind, when you pack this up for the wedding, can you make sure the person knows that the joint is facing upwards? Because that prolongs the life of the cord. And I'm like, man, you don't care about any of my equipment like your own equipment. Stuff gets broken all the time in my shop. Lights, stands get broken, knocked over, tables get broken. Stuff is dirty. Like nothing in my store does he care about, like the power cord of his own thing. And I'm like, wow, that just goes to show. Our expectations for employees or staff are really, really, really high, but that's not really how it works. Nobody really cares unless they are the ones that are paying for it. So this brings me to the point of when you want to be the technician in your company, and this is from the book, The E-Myth Revisited, which I also have a link in the description below to get a free Audible trial. If you guys want to try out that book, it's one of the best e-commerce books, and it's an older book, but it still is relevant today. In your store, the technician is the person that resells, the person that buys the stuff, lists, photographs. And when you want to get to the next level, you have to be aware of the limitations of yourself. So I went to eBay Open. I'm going to mention DIY Mike again because he's awesome. And somebody asked him, what can get you to the next level? He was on stage with Guitar Center and some of these gigantic companies. He was on stage as just a solo seller, about $1 million a year in sales. He has a few people helping him here and there, but the majority of it is a labor of love. He's in his shop all day, working 7 days a week. So basically, he has eBay and then some family life. That's it. There's not a lot in between. And his eBay life is also related to his passion, which is cars. My point is, he mentioned, this is it. I can't grow because I do most of the work. And if I outsource the work to other people, then I don't get to do what I like doing, which is selling, right? So there's limitations. And if you're aware of that, go for it. And then people asked, what were the biggest mistakes that you made building up your business? And he said, I didn't really make any mistakes starting his business, in the sense that no major mistakes. I set up my business properly from the beginning. I learned how to do that. I had a proper license. I was in my garage until I was big enough to move into a warehouse space. I did everything by the book. I was very conservative with my money. I didn't make any rash decisions. And I just want to point out how different that is. He's not in a rush. When you meet him in person, he's very kind, very gentle. And that's how a lot of business people I meet are. They're not in a hurry. The people who are in a hurry, haste makes waste is the saying. And I just think it's important to recognize, if you want to be the person that resells, there's limitations to how much money you can earn. He's only able to do $1 million because it's almost 100% replenishables. He's producing products in the United States. And he was even like, what, you think because I'm Asian, I have my stuff produced in China? No, I produce my stuff in small batches in the good old USA. So you don't have to go overseas to get products either. You just have to know what you're doing. Okay. The next is, you have to force yourself to do things. And this is the truth. And in my group, Stephanie was mentioning that when she needs to get something done, she knows that she needs to force herself to do it. And I agree with this 100%. It's not natural. Like, oh, I need to get my accounting done. I'll get it done at some point. That's not how this works. You have to force yourself to do this. You have to drag yourself out of bed, go down and figure out who is in your area, knows how to do this stuff. Call them. None of that is natural. You can't meditate and that will be suddenly easier. Doesn't work that way. You have to force yourself to do it. And that comes from high expectations for yourself. Like, I want a real business. I got to kick it in the gear and get this done. Like, a perfect example would be like a cold shower. There's no comfortable way to do that. You just have to turn on the cold water and get in. That's all there is. This goes back again. I'm going to mention this in as many videos as I can, which is perfection is just an excuse. I hear people say, "Oh, I'm a perfectionist. That's why it's taking me so long." That's just an excuse. Like, I just started blogging. Okay, I'm on my 7th blog post now. No one's reading it, okay? And it's related to reselling. I have an audience and still no one is reading it because it's not good, right? It's going to take some time to make the quality of the writing good enough for people to care and want to go to my blog and read it, right? Because that's harder than just watching a YouTube video on how to do something, right? The content has to be really good. So I'm going to be horrible at it for a long time, and I'm okay with that. And you should be too. When you're just starting, no one cares about what you're doing. There's no point in being a perfectionist, because the only person that's going to see it is you and maybe your mom, right? So there's no, I don't understand this hesitation with perfection. It really is just an excuse to not get started. The next is productivity dips when you hire someone. This is really key to understand. Rally Roots, Ryan and Allie, I consider them great friends. I talk to them frequently about e-commerce, and they mentioned that there's a dip when you hire somebody, and I agree. When you hire somebody, your personal productivity goes out the window because you have to help somebody else do it. Instead of doing twice as much work, you're doing half as much work with 2 people. So you take a big, pay cut, even though you have a new person and new expenses. And it takes a while to get through that until they are productive. And now you can get some of your time back and put it into something else. But it's important to understand that your productivity dips when you add somebody. The next is the best SEO. The best way that you can get discovered, because a lot of people who watch my channel also want to start a reselling channel. And although it's not a very good category, I would say if you look at the site keywords everywhere, you can look at how keywords rank, and honestly, reselling is not that great. You would make more money talking about like recipes or something that has a higher CPM, and you can research that on keywords everywhere and figure out what topics make the most money when you talk about them. Reselling is not that profitable because so many people talk about it. So the best SEO, if you wanted to do it anyway, then you have to have shareable content. Right, so you have to make the best content you can, and you probably have to pay for it. I haven't done any paid traffic yet, but I'm curious how that works. I'd love to pay to have people come find my channel or pay to go do stuff, but again, you can just make good stuff from the beginning. People will find you, and I don't think it's too crowded, but I still think that you should pick niches that make you money. Again, I prefer repetition over passion. I feel like you can develop a passion for something once you get good at it. It's funny how many people I know that are passion people. I'll give you an example of I have another reseller influencer friend that forces merchandise down his audience's throat, and they don't really like it, right? His audience hates it, and but he's passionate about the money part of it, and he wants to get money, but it doesn't work with what he's trying to do. He's like trying to be a reseller, but he's also forcing you to buy something. That's not related to reselling, like a mug, right? Buy this mug from me. If you care about me, buy this mug from me. And that's not, to me, that's not, he's always about push your passion. That to me sounds ridiculous, because it's just not a good match. So you have to be related to what you're doing. And that's just, I don't know how to explain it, but I just don't believe in passion. I believe in repetition. The only reason why he keeps doing forcing the merchandise down people's throats is that he earns money from it. So he's becoming passionate about earning money. That's it. It's not because he likes mugs. There's nothing to do with mugs. He's just trying to push it. Okay. Next is, in the beginning, I always recommend hiring an assistant. And people hate that advice because it can slow you down. But again, the point of hiring an assistant is not to double your productivity. It doesn't work that way. If you hire an assistant, in the beginning especially, it's going to be worse. But the idea is to outline what it is you're actually doing, right? You need to tell somebody else what you're doing so they can help you do it. That's the most valuable part of hiring an assistant. So do that first. Figure out the sheet. I'm going to add this into my reseller field guide. I have a chart so my listers know exactly what they need to do, and I have a chart for photography. And the only way to do that was really to have somebody come into my shop and talk to me about what I'm doing. And I used Jack Pittman. A lot of you guys know Jack. He used to have a giant dropshipping channel. He came and wrote down what I was doing, and then we made it into a chart, and it's beautiful and it's easy for people to follow. That's how I do it. Okay. Now I'm going to just touch slightly on a couple questions that people always ask, which is how much, when can I hire somebody? So, and I'm going to break it down to this. How much can you afford Can you afford a couple $100 a week, $1,000 a week? How much can you afford to pay this person and it doesn't affect you? For me, it's $70,000 a year. I can afford to pay an eBay manager to not have to do anything, right? That's just covering the customer service part of it, some of the buying. That's what it's worth to me to not have to do that all the time. Although I do enjoy reselling and it's still the big chunk of my day. That's what an eBay manager is worth to me. And then I'm expecting, basically my income goal for reselling is $5,000 per week. And people often ask like, oh, why are you? And it's because I live in California and I really have a lot of things I want to do. And I don't think you start to get any freedom until you're at like 350,000 income or more. If you guys don't agree with that, let me know in the comment section why. But like, if you want to invest and do some projects, you need capital to do that. And so I've reduced my expenses almost to zero, and I'm just saving that money to be able to do stuff with it. But that's the income goal. Now, backing that up a little bit, I can earn that income by myself as a reseller if I turn all these other channels off, just resell all day. But that's not my personal goal. My personal goal is not only income related. I want to build a small team. Okay, so if you want to build a small team, your business has to be bigger and it has to be more inefficient. There's no such thing as like 3 ninja people that work for you that get it all done. I've never met anybody like that. All the people I meet, they don't have 3 ninja people. They have 5 average people that work in their company, and they just over broke. They do exactly what they need to do to not get fired. That's who you're looking for to work for you, not some amazing ninja warrior. That doesn't really exist. That's you. That you're the ninja warrior, and the person that you're trying to hire is just another version of you, who you would need to pay a lot of money. If you want to earn $100, $200 an hour, why would you hire someone to do what you're doing for 12? It just doesn't match up, guys. Okay, now here's the last question. How long do you think it would take them to ramp up to where they can be profitable? That's a good question. Can you survive? Can you give this person 6 weeks to learn the skill so that they can get to the point where they can be profitable for you? That's the question that I ask. So if you need them to immediately generate profit for you, then you're in big trouble. You're going to put way too much pressure on them. They're going to hate their job. They're going to quit as soon as possible. You're going to have that high turnover. And high turnover is ridiculous because you invested way more than just their pay. All the time you went into showing them what to do, investing in them. Plus you're revealing trade secrets to them if you're in a specific niche. So hope that was useful, guys. If you enjoyed this content, please smash the like button and subscribe. There'll be plenty more of this. If you want to join my Patreon, you can join my Discord group. That's $10 for life, one time. Or you can join my mastermind group, which is 50 people, and that I'm probably going to charge a little bit more for that because it's so time consuming. I'm literally keeping track of 50 people's goals, and it's incredibly useful to me because I can share interesting insights with you guys. But I love looking at how people are basically doing the exact same thing. The reason why I'm able to do this is people are just in different stages. They just started, they're looking for stuff around the house, or maybe they have 6 employees. There's a gentleman in the group that just comes a couple of times a week, and he's doing, I think, $65,000 a month, and he is still able to learn something. He's just coming in to listen to what people are doing, and then he goes into his business and tweaks it. But then there's other people who listen to every single call because I have 22 per month, and they can't find one thing that improves their business. And these are the people that are really vague. That's why I want to punch vagueness in the face because it doesn't get you anywhere. What are you working on today? Oh, I'm just going to be listing here and there. I'm going to be, when I have time, I'll look for some stuff. That person is never going to be a decent reseller because that's just not how it works. If I was asking you, if you told me you're going to be a rock climber, and I'm like, when do you rock climb? You're like, oh, when I have extra time or whatever. That answer to me it gives me the, not heebie-jeebies. It gives me maybe rage. It gives me rage when I hear that because I'm like, you're not going to be a rock climber if you don't go rock climbing. It seems pretty obvious to me versus I have some rock climber friends that go every day, right? They go until they can't rock climb anymore because they're too tired. That's the person that's going to be successful in reselling. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Take care, everybody. I'll see you on the next show.
Love life, live it like we appreciate it. Think smart, drink smarter, play hard.